Designing a watch can be a tricky thing. After all, there's only so many times you can rehash the same elements, right? If your design draws too much from the watch that inspires you, it'll just look like a generic copy. But if you change too much in an attempt to be original, then it can end up looking goofy. There's a fine line between the two extremes, and it can be easy to go too far in either direction. But when a brand nails it, the results can be pretty satisfying. One such example is Peren and their Nera Rogue. I was intrigued by the model as the specs listed on the website seemed to tick a lot of boxes. I got talking to Peren and they kindly agreed to send me a sample for this sponsored review. The Nera Rogue is limited to 300 units with the option of either a black or steel bezel, and it's currently available for pre-order from just 488 Swiss francs, which is about £400 or $500 US. The watch is based off the Tornek Rayville TR900 Divers watch, which was used by the US Navy's Experimental Diving Unit. However, Peren have added plenty of modern elements that transform the watch into something truly unique. The specifications offer everything you need in a diver. The watch has 200 meters water resistance, a sapphire crystal, and it's powered by Sellita SW200 movement. This Swiss automatic movement has become a popular choice for a lot of brands, and its widespread use makes it both easy and cheap to maintain. However, whilst the watch has a solid set of specs, it's the Nera Rogue's design that sets it apart from its competition. The watch manages to blend minimalist elements with the military aesthetic of the Tornek that inspired it. The 39mm steel case is probably the most obvious reference to the Tornek. Its bead-blasted finish helps mimic the military aesthetics of the original watch, and I think that Peren have nailed its proportions. The lug-to-lug is 48.8mm, which helps the watch feel bigger than it really is without being ungainly. The watch is also reasonably thin at 12.8mm, and that's further improved by the black PVD bezel. The contrast between it and the case helps trick the eye into thinking that the watch is thinner than it really is. Speaking of the bezel, it has 120 clicks and a robust steel insert. The action is very crisp for a watch at this price point, and I'm a fan of the no-fuss batten markers on the insert. Unusually, the edge of the bezel actually slopes inwards towards the dial, and I think that this helps the watch wear more modestly on the wrist. Naturally, the minimalist elements are most obvious on the dial. The markers are simple white squares that cut into a steeply sloped rehort. This gives the Nera Rogue a sense of real depth, despite the fact that the markers are flat. In another nod to the watch's military inspiration, the dial has exceptionally high contrast. The bright white markers and handset easily stand out against the deep greenish blue of the dial, and the sapphire crystal has 3 layers of anti-reflective coating on its underside to further aid legibility. For readability in the dark, the hands and markers are painted with BGW9 Superluminova. Given how little lume is on the watch, I was pleasantly surprised by how brightly it glowed. It's certainly not at Seiko's level, but it's enough for everyday use. Another small touch that I very much appreciate is that Peren have bothered to colour match the date wheel to the dial. It's attention to detail like this that shows when a brand knows how to design a watch. Now, Peren sent me the watch with both a steel bracelet and a NATO strap. The Oyster bracelet is of good quality and the end links fit very nicely against the case. The clasp is an off-the-shelf one, but it's perfectly adequate. Though the fly in the ointment is the finishing. For some inexplicable reason, the bracelet is brushed whilst the case is blasted. It's an odd choice that makes the bracelet seem like an afterthought. I've raised the issue with Peren and they've assured me that they're looking into blasting the bracelet. If they do go ahead with that, then it will improve the look of the watch on the bracelet immensely. The NATO isn't anything special either, and it's just one of those that you can pick up on eBay for a tenner. Given how little NATO straps cost wholesale, I'd have liked to have seen a more premium offering paired with the watch. But whilst neither strap option does the Nera Rogue justice, I think that the watch suits a NATO strap very nicely. And with a 20mm lug width, I've also got a ton of aftermarket straps that I can pair with it, so I'm not too concerned by the stock strap options. Despite my gripes with the strap choices, I still enjoyed my time with the Nera Rogue, and there's virtually nothing I'd criticise about the watch itself. It offers a perfect blend of classic and contemporary elements that means it's both reassuringly familiar and refreshingly original. Like any decent diver, the watch is exceptionally legible, and the bezel and crown are very ergonomic. And with that steel bezel, sapphire crystal, and 200-meter depth rating, I've no doubt that this is a watch that could take whatever punishment you choose to throw at it. Aesthetically, the design is exceptionally clean, and every element works together perfectly. It's no small feat to design a watch that's simple, yet striking, but somehow Peren have pulled it off. Thank you to Peren for sponsoring the channel, and you can pre-order the Nera Rogue from Peren's website. I'll leave a link to it down in the description. After the pre-order, the prices will jump to start from 689 Swiss francs, so you can save a decent amount by getting it now. Anyway, that's it from 12 and 60. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers!